If you're still watching at the end of this video, it means this story found you for a reason, and before it unfolds, do me a small favor that helps this channel grow. Tap the like button if you believe kindness matters, and subscribe so you never miss stories that remind us who we really are. Now stay with me, because what you're about to hear begins at the end, with a woman standing in a silent lobby, clutching a photograph, staring at a janitor she's ignored for years, finally realizing she spent $50 million searching for the very man mopping the floor in front of her. The building was empty that night, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears. Elena Cross, CEO of Cross Dynamics, stood frozen near the elevators as rain streaked down the glass walls behind her. The janitor paused mid-swipe, his hands resting on the mop handle, eyes tired but calm. He looked at her the same way he always had, respectful, distant, invisible. Elena's voice trembled when she finally spoke his name, a name she had never bothered to learn until that moment. "It's you," she whispered, the weight of a decade crashing down on her chest. He tilted his head, confused, unaware that her entire empire had been shaped by the desperate, costly search for him. 10 years earlier, Elena hadn't been a billionaire. She was brilliant, ambitious, and burning with something to prove. She built Cross Dynamics from a rented office and sleepless nights, fueled by one memory she never talked about. When she was 19, homeless and grieving, a stranger saved her life on a winter night when she had nothing but a broken suitcase and a failed scholarship. He gave her food, a coat, and words that changed her forever. "You're not lost. You're just early." She never learned his name. He disappeared before morning, leaving behind a folded note with a symbol drawn on it, a small compass. That compass became her secret obsession. As her company grew, so did her need to find him. Not to repay him with money, though she had plenty, but to tell him that his kindness had created everything she became. When she reached her 30s and Cross Dynamics went public, Elena quietly allocated funds to a private initiative. Investigators, researchers, missing persons experts, facial recognition software, international databases. Over the years, the number reached $50 million. Board members questioned her sanity. Advisors warned her of distraction. She ignored them all. Some debts weren't financial. Meanwhile, every morning at 5:30 a.m., the same janitor arrived at Cross Dynamics headquarters. His name was Daniel Reed. He wore worn gloves, moved slowly because of an old knee injury, and kept to himself. He noticed everything: the stress in employees' shoulders, the tears wiped away before meetings, the loneliness that clung to success. Elena passed him every day, heels clicking, eyes glued to her phone, mind racing toward the next deal. Sometimes Daniel nodded politely. She never noticed. Daniel had his own past, one he didn't revisit often. Years ago, he'd been a social worker until budget cuts gutted the program he believed in. He drifted, took odd jobs, helped people quietly where he could. On one winter night long ago, he'd met a young woman shivering at a bus station, eyes hollow with grief. He gave her his coat, his dinner, and a few words he hoped would stick. He never imagined they would echo into an empire. As the years passed, Elena grew colder. Success brought isolation. She trusted numbers more than people. Her search grew desperate, obsessive. Every false lead felt like a betrayal by the universe. She began to wonder if the man had ever existed, or if grief had invented him. The board threatened to shut down the search after a particularly expensive international failure. That night, Elena stayed late, sitting alone in the darkened office, the city glowing below her like a promise she no longer felt worthy of. That was the night the janitor spoke to her for the first time. "You look like someone who forgot why they started," Daniel said gently, not looking up from the floor he was cleaning. Elena snapped back, irritated, exhausted. "I don't need philosophy. I need results." Daniel nodded. "Results don't mean much if you lose yourself getting them." She scoffed, dismissed him, and went back to her office. But his words followed her home. They sounded painfully familiar. Weeks later, everything unraveled. An internal audit exposed the secret project. Media outlets erupted with headlines mocking the CEO who burned millions chasing a ghost. Investors panicked. The board demanded answers. Elena finally revealed the truth at an emergency meeting, her voice cracking as she told the story she'd buried for years. The room fell silent, not with judgment, but with something closer to understanding. Still, damage was done. Elena resigned that same day, walking out of the office with a single box. As she crossed the lobby one last time, rain pouring outside, she noticed the janitor standing near the exit. Something tugged at her chest. She stopped, really looked at him for the first time. The lines in his face. The calm in his eyes. And then she saw it, a small compass tattoo on his wrist, faded with age. Her heart stopped. The photograph slipped from her hands and slid across the marble floor. Daniel picked it up, frowning. "That's a compass," he said softly. Elena's voice broke. "You saved my life." Understanding dawned slowly on his face, followed by quiet shock. "You were that girl," he said. "You're okay." She laughed through tears, a sound raw and human, nothing like the polished CEO the world knew. "I spent 10 years trying to find you. $50 million. And you were here. Every day." Daniel looked around the empty lobby, then back at her. "Seems like you found me when you were ready to see." They sat on the steps as the storm raged outside, talking until dawn. No contracts, no power imbalance, just two people whose lives had intersected again at the exact right moment. Elena realized the greatest challenge she faced wasn't losing her company, it was learning to be human again. Daniel reminded her that impact isn't measured in billions, but in moments of compassion. In the months that followed, Elena turned down offers to return to corporate life. Instead, she founded a foundation focused on unnoticed workers, people who quietly keep the world running. Daniel joined as an advisor, still wearing simple clothes, still refusing the spotlight. The building where they met now has a small plaque near the entrance, easy to miss, engraved with a compass and 4 words, "You're not lost. You're early." So if you're still here, listening to this story, remember this: sometimes the miracle you're searching for is right in front of you, waiting for you to look up. If this story moved you even a little, like the video and subscribe. You never know whose life your attention might change.